question is worth 5 points of your life. I know the reason. There are 3 things that you need to know on this question, and I will show you exactly what you need. The first one, you need to know how to find the slope or the gradient of a line. You need to know how to find the slope of the line. Number 2, you need to know how to form the equation of a line given 2 points. You need to know how to find the equation of a line given 2 points. And number 3, you need to know how to formulate inequalities. Without further ado, let us start with the very simplest problem. The first one is number 1. You can see here let me write it here. Number 1. Okay, you can see that this is just a vertical line which is passing at what? Which is passing at 1. So x is equal to 1, right? So that is the line. But what is the question says? The question says, write 3 inequalities that define the unshaded region R. Write 3 inequalities that define the unshaded region. So the question is, or the task is to identify where the unshaded region is. The unshaded region is right here in the center. Now, if you observe the line x equal to 1, right, this is a solid line, so meaning that it can be greater or equal to, or it can be less or equal to. But look at this. When you look at the values that are before 1, all these values in here, right, in the unshaded region are less than 1. So therefore, the inequality becomes x is less than or equal to 1. Less or equal to 1. This cannot be greater than, because the numbers that are greater than 1 are on the right side of 1. So we are done. Number 2, let us see this line that is describing number 2. The first point is to identify 2 points on the line. So on the left side here, I see a point here which is -5, 2. So I have a point -5, 2. Then I can pick another one on the top right here, which is just 0,5. So this is 0,5. Okay, so now we have 2 points, right? We have 2 points on a line. We can use these 2 points to find the gradient. Then from the gradient, we can find the equation of the line. Then from the equation of the line, we can test it and see whether it gives us greater than or less than. Okay, so the slope of the line given 2 points is given by y is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. In this case, our x2 in this case our y2 we can take it as 5, then minus y1 we can take it 2 divided by x2 is 0 minus our x1 is -5. 5 minus 2 is just 3 divided by 0 minus -5 is +5. So we have the slope which is 3/5. Y minus y1 is equal to m, which is the slope, x minus x1. Let us write y minus, I will use the second coordinate 0,5, so meaning that our y1 is 5. This is equal to m is 3/5. Then x minus x1 is 0. So meaning that this equation is y minus 5 is equal to 3/5x. And I can write this thing as y is equal to 3/5x. 5 crosses the equal sign, becomes a plus. All right, now we have the equation of the line given by y is equal to 3/5x plus 5. We want to test this line and see whether it gives us a greater than or a less than. Let us pick a point which is easier. Let me pick 0,1. 0,1, why? Because 0,1 is in the unshaded region. So I name it P here. and I call it 0, 1. Okay, so here y is 1 and x is 0. So in our equation, remember our equation is y, so I leave the space there, then 3 over 5 x plus 5. Okay, so I leave a space between this, right, because I want a sign to put in here. Okay, so at this point we said y is 1, so I put 1 question mark, I don't know what's the sign there. X is 0, so this is just 3 plus 5. X is 0, so this is 3 over 5 multiplied by 0 plus 5. Okay, so this is 1 something here, then 5. So you can see that y, you can see that 1 is less than 5, right? 1 is less than 5. So meaning that this inequality is a less than inequality. So this tells us that the second inequality is the inequality y is less than 3 over 5x plus 5. For the second line, the one at the bottom here, we will also need 2 points. So let me pick a point which is very easy, 0, 0. 0, 0. I will also pick the first point here that we used in the previous problem, that is negative 5, 2. Okay, then we can go ahead and find the slope. So remember y2 minus y1, so let's take y2 to be 2 minus 0 divided by our x2 is 5 here, then minus 0. This gives us negative 2 over 5. Using the formula y minus y1 is equal to x minus x1. Let me use 0, 0. So y minus 0 is equal to, our slope is negative 2 over 5. Then x minus x1 is 0. So this line is just y is equal to negative 2 over 5x. All right, so we have y should be equal to, right, equal to negative 2 over 5x. Okay, so I will use equal here because I will need either greater or equal to or less or equal to, right? So let us pick a point. I will use the same simple points, right? So 0, 1. So 0, 1. Okay, so when y is 1, right, we have 1 something here, then x is 0, so this guy is 0 on the other side, so meaning that we have greater here, right? So this is greater or equal to, right? 1 is greater or equal to 0. Okay, let's try if we choose different points. Let's say negative 2, 2. So y is 2, right? So this is 2, then something here, negative 2 over 5, x is 2, so negative 2. This is 2 something, negative 2 multiplied by 2, positive 4, right? Positive 4 over 5. So obviously 2 is greater than 4 over 5. So this is greater or equal to. So you can see that this is the correct description. In a nutshell, if you go through this process, you realize that the first one, the vertical line gives you x is greater than or equal to 1, and the line on the left gives you y is less than 3 over 5x plus 5, and the one at the bottom gives y is greater than or equal to negative 2 over 5x.